Ahoy toy, welcome to Transfixed, the channel that will fight for subscribers wherever there's trouble, wherever there's traffic. Anyway, I'm going to sneak this video in here in between my Transformers stuff to talk about the G.I. Joe 6-inch line, the classified line, because, believe it or not, G.I. Joe was my number one toy when I was a kid. Most of this channel is dedicated to Transformers, but I do dabble in G.I. Joe, Marvel, and Star Wars and things like that. And most of my collecting nowadays is focused on Transformers, mostly because they've come so far since the G1 Transformers. But as a kid, yeah, I collected Transformers as a kid and Star Wars, but my number one was G.I. Joe. That was my bread and butter. That was my go-to toy for most of my playtimes, and I loved it to death. I had tons of G.I. Joes. So I was really excited about the classified line. I did collect some of the 25th anniversary stuff, which itself improved over the years. Didn't start off so great, though. But yeah, I have such mixed feelings about this, so I wanted to talk about it. Because I know you're all waiting to hear about my opinion on these toys, of course, right? That's what matters. But anyway, yeah, when, I've been wanting a 6-inch G.I. Joe for a long time. Because, I mean, it's funny because it started off as a vehicle. It was mainly a vehicle-focused line. That was the idea behind it. That's why the figures had to be smaller, along with plastic prices, all this stuff. But the characters really took on a life of their own thanks to the great writing of Larry Hama with those file cards and the wonderful Marvel comic. I mean, I watched the cartoon every time I could see it, yes, but that Marvel comic was awesome. I loved it so much. That's my definitive G.I. Joe lore, and nothing's really recaptured it. Even the current line, I'm not thrilled with it. It's just, everything was golden at that time. And what am I trying to say here? I want to give some context to my feelings about this because I wanted the 6-inch line to come, and I had my doubts about whether we'd ever see it, even though everything Hasbro was doing was 6-inch. Where was the G.I. Joe? And they really didn't seem to care about the brand. And it just disappeared, and maybe it was good to give it a breather. I don't know. When I heard it was confirmed, though, I was so excited. I actually cleared shelf space. I moved some Transformers. I even put up a new shelf to move the Transformers there. I had a place set aside for these 6-inch G.I. Joe figures that were coming. I was ready. And I thought, what, I'll start with a small shelf because there's going to be 5 or 6 at the beginning. Then if there's more, I can move it to this larger shelf space over here. I had it all planned out. And then I saw them. Then we saw the photos. And I put the Transformers back on the shelf. I gotta say, I was really disappointed with what we got. I don't understand what they are trying to do. I don't understand who they're selling this to. And a lot of people love them. I get that. I want to love them too. I wish I could accept them. I guess I'm too old. I don't know. But I don't know who they're trying to sell these toys to. Now, there are some good things about them. There are some wins, and I'm going to talk about pros and cons and everything. But I just don't. I don't think the people running Hasbro have the talent that the people at Hasbro had in the 80s. I just don't think the right people are there. I'm sorry, because the audience for G.I. Joe, if you're trying to bring in new fans, then I guess I get it. I can probably understand that. But I don't know what they're trying to do. I mean, they've done some good things. The new website is cool. Some of these designs are cool. The art is cool, but it's not consistent. So here's what happened. I went into Toys R Us. Luckily, we still have them in Canada. So I was looking for just new stuff to see what was there. And there were some new Marvel figures there. So I looked at those. I scanned the whole shelf, the whole aisle, and then I went to the next aisle to look at the Transformers. And then luckily I circled back to the Marvel Legends area because I was standing there looking at all that stuff, and I completely overlooked this box. There was one G.I. Joe in the store, Snake Eyes here. This one single figure was there. I know that Walmart has got some end caps and stuff in the States. I don't know if we're going to be getting those. Hopefully we are. I didn't expect to see this, but it was right there on the shelf. I completely overlooked it. It was on the end of the shelf, down underneath, like in the kind of middle area below my eye line. That might be part of it, and maybe it's because of Snake Eyes a Ninja. He's a sneaky, stealthy bugger. But I would not have missed. But there's no way I would have missed those. Look at those. I mean, the Quick Kick on the left is a Fun School, so that's as close as I have to a carded vintage G.I. Joe figure. And then the two Cobra Commanders there are 25th anniversary figures. But the card back is evocative. It's almost a repainting of for the Cobra Trooper there and the officer. It's almost a repainting of the original. I mean, that's those things literally like exploding off the shelf. I mean, okay, not literally, but there's explosions there. It gets your attention. And then they have the digital ones. There's some 3-packs and stuff I have there. Finally, a Red Ninja. Look at that Red Ninja there. How many years did it take us to get a Red Ninja that looked like the one in the comic books? There was always Red Ninjas in the comic books. And all you had to do was take Storm Shadow, make him red, and give him a different head, because those have little sort of look like little cat ear, little tufts on the mask. So it's not exactly like Storm Shadow. That's all you had to do, and they never gave it to us. And then in this 6-inch line, in the very first wave, we're going to have Red Ninjas, which I guess is because of the movie, the Snake Eyes movie. But they look, I'm sorry, they're cool. Yeah, they look really cool, but they're way overdone. It's just too much. I just want a Red Ninja, because that's what it was in the comics. Yeah, I mean, I admit, I'm totally biased. I'm hung up in the 80s, whatever, but I mean, this was my jam, right? This is actually my very first G.I. Joe figure, this Recondo here. And this is a quality figure. I love this thing. Now, he's got Repeater's arms because his thumb broke off here. Or was it the elbow? Something broke on his arm, so I replaced them both with the Repeater's arms because he had extra. I had an extra Repeater, or maybe I bought it for this purpose. Anyway, it's pretty close, right? I mean, these Recondos are in much better shape. But this was my Recondo. That was my introduction to G.I. Joe. I think next I got a Televiper and the Baroness. But I mean, the cool thing about G.I. Joe is you could be G.I. Joe. I mean, these are just guys. They're just people, men and women in the armed forces that worked hard to become the best. And look, they're just wearing clothes. He's got a knife and a pistol. He comes with a rifle and a backpack. And he's just out in the jungle doing his thing. Yes, these were drawn on soldiers from the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the 70s, right? I understand the war has changed. But when this line came out, they look like superheroes. I mean, the Scarlet figure looks good, but, it's got the asymmetrical armor and stuff, and she's got this weird smile. She looks like she's a teenager. Snake Eyes is good. It's hard to screw up Snake Eyes. Apparently, the guy designed this like a few years ago, and they're just now getting around to it. I mean, also on the back, look, this doesn't show the other figures. Again, I don't have carded examples, but this is the Fun School card back, and this is the 25th anniversary. They never did this back in the old days, but you could see what other figures there are. You turn it over and you're like, oh wow, here's everything I need to know about this character that I'm buying, and here's all the other toys I can buy. And this was how I found out about new toys, right? I mean, you'd look at this and be like, oh my god, look at that, I need that figure. I'd first hear about new figure at school. I remember when the 88 line came out, I think it was, somebody brought Crazy Legs to school. And I was like, what? That's a G.I. Joe? Who is this? And there's like, so I go to the store as soon as possible and I pick up, I think all they had was Crystal Ball. But I looked on the back, I'm like, oh, there's Jinx. There's a new Storm Shadow. I mean, all these things I need. A new Cobra Commander. Stuff I needed. But here we just have artwork. But at least we get an idea of the characters we're probably getting. So Roadblock is part of the line, but I mean, it's the V2, the version 2 suit for the most part, except with no sleeves. Okay, that's close enough. But then he's got this gold. Yes, I'm one of the people who doesn't like the gold armor because it's too flashy. These are soldiers. And they've changed Roadblock's look. He doesn't have his mustache and soul patch. He's got this whole beard and he just looks different, I don't like. And this Independence Day laser rifle or whatever. Yep, I'm one of those people. I hate it. I don't know why he can't have a Browning M2 submachine or machine gun or something along those lines. Maybe something like this weapon here. This came with a Punisher figure made by Hasbro, and there's even an ammo belt that you can plug in there. Gung Ho is pretty good, but then he's got this sort of technical thing on his arm, like he's the Predator or something, and then some other stuff. People like Gung Ho because he's the closest to the vintage. That should tell you something. I do like Destro for the most part. They've just added some detail to his suit. Destro is a good figure. I'm going to be buying Destro. Snake Eyes is a good figure. He's pretty close to the second version of his suit. Cobra Commander I'll probably get because he's close enough, but I do not like this helmet. They've added this really weird flare visor thing here and these kind of wrap around on this. I don't like the helmet redesign. I don't like how he's just overdone. I don't like how he has armor pads on his shoulders and his hips. Why would you put armor padding on your hips and shoulders only? The Baroness looks pretty good. Sorry, my camera's not really far enough away to show this vertically, but then like there's a closer up picture where you can see she has little snakes on the corner of her glasses, and then these shoulder pads. It's too much, you know. I mean, it's close, but then like, who are these? Are these superheroes? Are they in costume? Like, I'm sorry, but who made these special custom Cobra glasses, eyeglasses for the Baroness? Is there somebody working at Cobra that makes accessories? It just kind of breaks the immersion for me. And yeah, like these Red Ninjas, they're pretty overdone. You know, they look pretty cool and spooky. If they want to make a new type of character or troop, whatever, fine. But this is actually the first troop builder in the line too. Sorry, I know I'm complaining, but I got to get off my chest, man. We don't have a Cobra trooper, a Viper, or an officer. The first troop builder we have is the Red Ninja, the one figure that we never got in the vintage line. Yes, they came out with that garish looking thing in the 90s. Anyways, it was pink and blue. It was not a Red Ninja. I think they called it Red Ninja Viper. And it was just Slice with different paint and neon paint. That's not a Red Ninja. These Alley Vipers look pretty cool. I'm okay with them putting a little lens on their visors, so it looks like they are not just trying to look through opaque blast shields. I mean, I doubt we're going to get a Night Raven or a Rattler. Duke. Duke is close, but again, they've put these random armor and gold pieces on him. And his face, I'm sorry, they overdid the butt chin. They didn't get the haircut right. They didn't get the face right. This is the same problem I have with Channing Tatum playing him in the movies. Duke is supposed to be the first sergeant, the field commander, the authority on the battlefield, okay? He should be a man, okay? Channing Tatum was like a boy, and I'm sorry, but I could not understand that southern accent he has. I just don't know. I needed subtitles for him. When I look at Duke, I want to see a seasoned veteran who could lead a team. I don't see that with the movie versions of him. I don't see that with this face sculpt either. I'm sorry. They just missed the mark, I think. This artwork is nice. I'm just talking about the representations of the characters. Like I said, I like the Destro. The Prophet Director, Pimp Daddy Destro, I think it's too soon. I don't know why they would have made that. I mean, if you're going to do an exclusive, I hate exclusives. That's probably the one they should have made an exclusive, though. But there he is in the main line. That's fine for people who want that. I think it's gross. I'm totally with Diagnostic 80 from the Full Force of not even wanting to say Pimp Daddy Destro. I do think it's distasteful. There's a whole interesting story behind that. I think that's fascinating. And for, as a collector's item, that's kind of cool, but I don't need it in my collection. Oh, here's those symbols. On the website, they have some nice little dossiers and skills. I think they're kind of doing like Transformers has their skill levels, right? So for Joe's, they've got their specialties now. That's okay. They've added something there. They put some work into that. This person has a level 2 in command and a level 1 in marksmanship or something. That's all right. That's fine. That's cool. The artwork is drawn from all different places. I don't know what they're going for. Anyways, I'm sorry. Circling back to this box, it's pretty bland. I mean, this texture on the artwork, looks like he's made of basketball. It's fine, I guess. It's okay, but it's just very dark, and I don't know. It didn't, like I said, I didn't even notice it on the shelf. I walked right by it. I can't believe that happened. And it's not consistent. Yes, I know you've heard this complaint before, but I think the boxes should have a cohesive theme like the vintage ones did. They've got all different artists. If you want to put that somewhere, I guess that's fine, but I don't know. I think that the art should be cohesive. I mean, you wouldn't do that here. You wouldn't have one artist do this and one artist do that. It just would look ridiculous. So when you put, people are going to put these boxes on the shelves next to each other, right? People who will collect in package. or like to save the boxes, I'm throwing this away. But well, I don't know why. Why are they all different? Why is there no color here? Where's the red, white, and blue? I mean, like I said, I'm in Canada. I grew up loving G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. They used to put Canadian stickers in the box, so you could put Canada instead of USA. You could put a Canadian flag instead of an American flag. I never cared about that. I honestly didn't care. So I had a mix, because not all the vehicles did that. So I had Canadian and US G.I. Joe vehicles. I never cared about the nationality as a kid. I don't care about it now. If you want to make it international, make it international, I guess. But it's don't be shy about being an American thing, right? I mean, if people love it for what it is, you can put the color there. Don't put the color there. I guess it's fine. But I don't know. I don't know why they're just watering it down. Let's get on to the figure, since I've babbled enough about that. This figure, once I got it in hand, was better than I expected. It's very articulated. It's all the articulation you get in a Marvel Legends or a Star Wars Black, except one thing is different. They've got this sort of swivel here. Instead of a cut where it just rotates, they've got like a ball joint at the bottom of the torso where it plugs into the waist there, and then it still has the crunch here. So you can do a lot of posability. There's butterfly joints, but I can't really get them to move. Like this doesn't seem to go back and forth when I move his arm. I thought it'd be like Spider-Man where it has that, but it doesn't really do anything. I'm glad it's there. That's great. Yes, I have customized it. I'll talk about that soon. But yeah, it's got the double jointed knees and arms. I find that it's looser, which I like. One major complaint I have with Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series figures is that these joints are ratcheted very tightly, overly tightly, and I often have trouble getting into a pose I want, because these plastic ratchets are sticky, and you can't really get them to sit where you want them to, or they're too far apart, so you can't get him to stand properly because all of these things don't line up, one ratchet to the other ratchet. There's an extra cut here in the boots I think you don't normally see. I do like the exclusive version of Snake Eyes, where it has sort of a gray, like almost a bronze color. It looks cool, but this one's more kind of faithful to the original. So I'm fine with these colors. It's just matte black plastic with some gloss black paint on certain areas and gloss black plastic. So it works well for Snake Eyes. I do not like these floating parts. I hate floating pieces. I hate it on Cyclops and the X-Men characters. I hate it on this. This part, I guess, has to be there. That's fine because it hides the joint. This one, every time I pick it up, this thing moves and it drives me nuts. These pieces on his thighs, these holsters, are floating, but I've glued them in place with super glue. And these arm ones, I should super glue in place because they keep moving around too. I mean, if you want pockets on his arms, just sculpt the bloody things on or glue them on for me, because I can't stand these things moving around every time I touch it. This thing moves around every time I touch it. It's nice that you can take it off, I guess. He's already got a harness underneath there. Now he's got this. It has a hole in it and a hole in his back, which don't work very well. If you line them up, you can plug in the backpack, and then the thing sits like this, too high. So it really should hang here, and the holes don't line up. So talking about the backpack, it's solid rubber. You can plug it into either one of them, but it kind of just, it sticks out. Okay, this is a step backwards from the vintage toy. Because, okay, in 1984, you had a nice solid peg that would stick in there, and they molded the backpack so that it matched up with his back. See that curvature there? Hope it's in focus. They always did that. Even if the character had kind of a detail here, they could sometimes notch out the backpack so it fit nice and snug onto his back. The other thing that I prefer about these figures is they're solid. This, I think, is ABS plastic. This is like a rubber. They've been doing this, I think, the whole time Hasbro had done 6-inch figures. They're always rubber. It drives me crazy. That's fine for the hands because you want to move them around the weapon. But I hate that they're so soft and rubbery. They just don't feel as solid, and like I said, they just don't pose as well. I mean, you didn't have to have ratchets or detents in these. It was tight, and you could take it apart and repair it. Except for those bloody O-rings. Yes, I know the O-rings are a problem. I've had to replace all mine. So yeah, it's posable. It's good and posable, and he has nice wrist joints here as well, which is good. It does help him hold his weapons. Got 2 trigger fingers. This piece can be lifted off if he raises his arm up. So yeah, to make him look more like my Snake Eyes, I have done a bit of painting. I used a chrome pen. So I used this Pilot silver. I guess it's not chrome. I do have a chrome pen, but I use the silver one on his mask, and that looks way better to me. The exclusive version, the deluxe version, whatever, comes with a silver visor, and I think he should have a silver visor. So I just painted mine. I didn't want to pay $40 for that bloody pack of weapons. I don't care about that. Oh, we need to talk about the weapons too. Yes, so that, and then I painted the grenades gray to match his... Oh, I should show you. This is my childhood Snake Eyes, which actually I think I've done some part swapping. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, I had a better condition Snake Eyes. But this is what Snake Eyes looks like to everybody. We always forget he has his little mouth there, but it's all just gray on black with a dash of silver for his little wrist dart, which he does not have. He just has guards on his arms. Doesn't have that. So the pistol on the one side he does have. The knife on this side he does have. They've changed a bit. Doesn't have the pockets. I wish he had the pockets on his ankles. That is that looks weird without it to me. And I don't mind them giving him some body armor. That's fine. The helmet is cool. It's two-tone black, and he's got the little chin piece and little looks like mouse whiskers, but little vents here, which is from his Resolute design. I'm okay with that. That's all right. One good thing is it comes with this badass sword. I love the sword. That's something he had in the vintage. I don't know why it needs a Arashikage symbol on the sword. I guess that's all right. And he's got it here as well, and he's got it here, and here. He's really branding this Secret Ninja clan. He's really advertising that. So this works nicely. This peg here, I guess you could put it into his back, and that's fine. There's also a hole in the backpack, a little bit of silver paint, that's nice. Hole in the backpack, so you can put the scabbard here. Or you could do this little submachine gun he comes with. That could be plugged in there instead. But only one. You've got to choose which weapon he's putting there. And then he's got this little pistol. And it comes with his suppressor, which also fits in the holster. I gotta be careful not to unglue my glue. And that will snap on there. That's pretty cool. I like that, but I don't like the weapon itself. So, yep, I'm going to complain about these weapons. They're sci-fi Nerf weapons or something. I don't know what they're supposed to be. They're fictitious, and I think they're stupid. And I've heard the argument to this, too. You can buy extra weapons elsewhere. You can get 6-inch figure scale, 1/12 scale weapons on Marauder Inc., the Marauder Gunrunners site, but they don't have an Uzi. I found one on eBay. But why do I have to pay an extra $5 or so for this? And look at the shipping for where I live. I'm already spent $20 on this figure. 30 Canadian. Why do I have to spend an extra $5 for weapons that it's supposed to come with? Now, there was also a big gaping hole in each of these. I'm not sure why the hole is there unless you were to plug this gun into that gun. Or you plug them into the scabbard. Maybe there's supposed to be some other place you could plug them into on future figures. I don't know. And I don't know why they're like this. The deluxe version comes with this proper Uzi, I believe. And oh, I just noticed there's a hole in the bottom of the scabbard. Does that poke through? No, it doesn't. Okay, that's fine. So I don't know why there's holes. I filled them in with a bit of poster tack and then a drop of super glue and then painted over it. So at least they're filled in, but I can still see circles there. I mean, a real gun wouldn't function with a big hole in it, so I don't get it. This is supposed to be a military figure. Now, some people are thinking that it's not acceptable to have military weapons and figures. Maybe they're trying to be safe. I don't know. But, I mean, walk into a Toys R Us if you're in Canada, or you remember them in the US. There's a whole wall, a whole aisle of true heroes, military figures that Toys R Us themselves puts out. Now, they must be selling them to somebody because they're aimed at kids and they have been there for years. And now, because I don't like these weapons, I tried to find some other stuff. Like I said, this was a Punisher weapon. Oh, sorry, I'm having focus problems here. with my with my presentation and my camera. Here are some weapons I pulled out of my Marvel Legends drawer. I think this was also Punisher. This was, I think, Killmonger from the Black Panther movie. This is a nice pistol. I think it's a Desert Eagle, or is it a Colt 1911? I think these are Desert Eagles from the Winter Soldier, and I'm not sure where this one came from. And here's a little submachine gun that also came with the Punisher. So Hasbro is making realistic weapons for their Marvel Legends. Black Widow, I think, comes with a lot of realistic weapons, so I don't buy that argument. I don't know why Gung Ho can't have his M79 blooper grenade launcher. Don't know why Roadblock can't have his Modus M2 machine gun. I think it's BS. They should have them. They're part of their character. They have weapon specialties printed right there on the file cards. It's always been that way. And let's be honest, I think that these must be aimed at the adult collector. Who's buying $20 figures, $30 figures in Canada? Who's buying these highly articulated collectible figures of a property that was relaunched rather, in 1983, and before that was what, the 60s? When was the large G.I. Joe, the 12-inch ones? I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, maybe they're trying to attract a new audience, but I suppose you could do. Why wouldn't a new audience be attracted to those designs? I've seen plenty of collectors that shared this stuff with their kids. Even mine. I have a daughter who's 6 years old. We play G.I. Joe. She wants to. I mean, sometimes, she wants to stop and have a wedding or something, rather than going on a mission. But but we still play with those toys, and she likes them. So I just don't understand. And did you see the Valaverse Sergeant Slaughter figure? What a coup! They got Sergeant Slaughter. Good for him. I think it's a bit cartoony. It looks like Popeye to me. I guess I'll stick with my wrestling Sergeant Slaughter's figure, but it's not as cartoony as Fortnite. Let's see how he does with the Firefly here from Fortnite. That's pretty good. Well, maybe that's enough complaining for now. This is a good figure. I'm glad to have it in hand. Like I said, I was happier with it once I got it in hand. I pre-ordered the light blue Cobra Commander because it reminds me of the cartoon. I think the dark blue is a superior figure. I think they really made a huge mistake with that network app. I'd never heard of it until it was launched, and then, I mean, I'm sorry, but they did a big blunder sending the wrong figure to them, or whatever they were doing, showing the light blue Cobra Commander, calling it a network exclusive, and then saying that it's actually the dark blue one you're going to get. And now I heard they're contacting customers to ask which color they want. And then people couldn't even get them, or they ordered too many because the app was a piece of garbage. I mean, they really should have thought about this before. Why not just put it on Hasbro Pulse? You've got your own website where you sell toys. I mean, that's where it is. That's where I ordered it from in the end. I don't know why they bothered with this network thing. I think it was a disaster. And sending them the wrong color, or it was either grossly incompetent that they got the wrong figure to present, or it was deceptive and misleading. Both are inexcusable for a company like Hasbro. Hasbro owns all the major toy properties now. They need to have good, smart people doing their job properly. I hope this line gets better. I mean, the first wave is just bizarre to me, or rather the second wave. And this Storm Shadow figure of the Ninja Force design as the first Storm Shadow before we're getting the regular Storm Shadow. And the regular one looks like he's got some metal mask with teeth on it. I just don't know what's going on at Hasbro with the G.I. Joe brand. I don't know. The point of my complaint here is basically that I expect that over time we have progress, we have improvements, but we stay faithful to the character and the original designs. And we just don't see that with G.I. Joe. See, the reason I collect Transformers is because there's such a leap in construction techniques. I mean, this is what we've gone to, from the G1 Wheeljack to this. I mean, that's wonderful. This is what we wanted as kids, and we had these bricks, right? That you can't even separate the legs or move them properly. But they're faithful. You know that's Wheeljack. Yes, there's a lot of cartoon influence drawn from that, but that's because that's the character that we grew accustomed to. I mean, look at Inferno here. I mean, the colors are the same, all the design cues are the same, and this comes with interchangeable pieces. So this is the animated version, but you can pop that whole front piece off and replace it with the version that looks like this, the toy. It's got chrome on it. I just prefer this one, but you have that option. You can change the hand around, but look, the face is the same. That is drawing all the inspiration of that character. Star Wars is the same. I mean, this is the retro, which is nice. This is a faithful reproduction of the original toy for those who want it, but you can also have the modern version where it looks like the movie character and has all the articulation that we've come to expect. Why is it that with G.I. Joe, when they go to update G.I. Joe, we have to reinterpret everything and redesign and redo everything? Because they think they can do better than they did on the original design. Just give us the 6-inch version of the original toy. At least we have something on the shelf. I hope that the retro line is going to be good. We're led to believe that this, based on what they've done with Star Wars, I'm expecting to see G.I. Joe figures like this. But I mean, are they going to do O-rings? I think that what they should do is just replace this with a peg that slots in. They could just do the same type of ball joint here. Just give it a ball joint at the waist that doesn't rely on that rubber band, but keep the metal T-bar if possible. I'm sure they could do it if they do it right. I don't know if we're going to get this at this point. I hope so. It'd be fun to buy G.I. Joe figures on the cool original cards. They're probably going to mix up the waves. They're probably not going to do it in order. You'll probably get Jinx before you get Snake Eyes or some damn thing like that. Well, no, you'll get Snake Eyes. No mistake in that. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I hope they don't drop the ball. I want them to do something nice for the collectors, but I just don't know what it's going to be. So we'll wait and see. I hope it's this, but maybe it's going to be this. I don't know. I have a video up on the channel about this Joy Toy figure, which I think is an excellent 3 3/4 inch figure. This is what they should be doing if they want to revisit that scale. This is almost what they should be doing. Construction-wise, it's good. I wish they used better materials. I wish they did just the original designs. I think that is what people want. I don't know who these are for. I just don't. Anyway, sorry, this is kind of a negative whinge fest here, but I just wanted to talk about G.I. Joe because I love it. It's dear to me, and it's coming back. It's not exactly what I want, but it's something. I don't know what else. Anyway, thanks for listening to this tirade, and I'll try to be more positive next time. Thanks for watching.